Hey everybody, Don here. Alright, so let's talk about the One Piece TCG current tier list. Now, I'm obviously biased, as we all are, but I think we can get a good understanding of what is the best decks in the game, what is decent decks, and what is straight up garbage. Let's get right into it. Actually, hold on. Before I do, make sure to subscribe button, like button, comment down below, and let me know in the comment section, what deck are you playing and why? Do you like it? Do you feel it belongs in the current tier list I'm going to rank it in? Or do you think it belongs to be higher or lower? Comment down below. Alright, right out the gate, Zoro. It's S tier. I mean, are we going to even argue about this? Zoro decks are just really good, and I think a basic understanding is they're so aggressive and they're running at your face, but I think the better Zoro plays, and we'll see in time, the better Zoro plays are not just about running at your face as much as they are running down your resources. And if you don't give your resources, then yeah, they're going to run at your face, so in order for you to win the game, you're going to have to give up resources, and I think that's going to be a really interesting dynamic between Zoro players and the rest of the entire meta. And I really want to see more matches. I think you guys want to see more matches. And I'll probably have some on this channel as well. Me playing Zoro and explain to you why I'm doing the plays I'm doing. And why these resources are being run down. Up next, Law. Law's S tier. I can't play Law for some ungodly reason. I'm not good with the deck. I'm learning it still. I'm trying to be really good and really confident. And I feel like Law is that deck that's just really good at playing the advantages of both green and red without necessarily any of the disadvantages. It can put a lot of blocks out there, but it can get aggressive. It all depends on the hand in the beginning, but a decent build and a good Law player, that guy's winning locals a lot of the time. People are going to have to struggle against that guy a lot of the time. Because I think the problem with Law, the problem playing against Law is you don't know if they're going to try to wall you out or be aggressive. Either or is going to happen. I do think Law is going to be renowned for that. It's going to be, what are you going to do? Are you going to be aggro Law today? Or like mid-range Law? Let me know. It's really interesting to see that deck in action. Up next, Luffy. So, this is a hybrid Luffy. I'm putting it as B tier. I think it's a cool deck. I like the artwork. Everybody probably wants to own one of these for their collection. But it really isn't that good. It's nowhere near as good as Law. It's kind of like a weaker version of what Law is. Law has a better ability, which helps it out tremendously when playing in the mid-range to late game scenario. Whereas Luffy, well, it still can play red and green, which is cool, but its ability isn't that good. Alright, here's a hard one. Oden. Because we could put Oden as A tier or B tier. And the reason why is because I think a locals that knows how to play against Oden would have Oden in the B tier. But most locals, and this is why I'm going to put that at A tier, most players, I should also say, don't know how to beat Oden. Oden is one of those decks that you got to watch your opponent's life. You want to break the resources down, and you want to swing your face as much as possible. And that's how you beat Oden. The more cards they have in their hand by you swinging at them, taking life as you ramp up on the Don, what are they going to do? They're going to have more advantage. They're going to be able to have free extra Don, and it's going to put you in a really bad spot. So as much as I think Oden is not that hard of a deck to beat, I do think it's really hard for players that don't know how to play against it. And if you know how to play against it, you might be the buy. Up next, Doflamingo. So Doflamingo, I want to put in S tier, but the problem with Doflamingo is, the huge issue with Doflamingo is, whenever we've seen big events, it just hasn't been there. Pro Play Games recently did a case tournament, and in the top 8, 0 Doflamingos. Not only that, Doflamingo has decks it straight up struggles against. Whereas Red Zoro doesn't really have a deck it struggles against, Doffy does. And I think Doffy has a huge problem against another deck we'll talk about in a second, as well as, well, the game. I mean, Doflamingo players are really good at kind of controlling the game, which is great for them. It works perfectly. But the problem with that is they're not doing it consistently enough. And that's why I think Doffy belongs in A tier. I think, once again, we could say Oden belongs in B, but Doffy 100% is a lock, dead set for an A tier deck. With the Treasure Cups coming up soon, will Doflamingo top? Probably. Will it win? Definitely not. And I want to be proven wrong, because Doflamingo is one of my favorite characters in the anime. I want to play it. I love the deck, and I'll probably be playing on this channel, but I don't think we can say Doflamingo's an S tier character in the card game currently right now. It just doesn't work that way. Blurple Kaido. This is weird because I thought Blurple Kaido was A tier beginning of this meta, but Blurple Kaido probably belongs right next to Luffy. It probably is B tier. Nobody's really playing it, nobody's really getting advantage from it, and nobody's really looking at it right now. And it kind of sucks because I really do like this card a lot. I think it's a great leader, but nobody's really utilizing it to take its full effect of the card's ability, as well as the card playing blue and purple. And that's kind of good with Kaido, but hey, it is what it is. All right, Blurple Crocodile. So everyone would say S tier, but I feel like a really good player would put this as an A tier. And the reason why for Blurple Crocodile is because even though it's really good, that cool little event package, whatever it does, most players can still still beat around it relatively easily. Don't get me wrong, obviously won the PBG case tournament, but that's because nobody really played this deck in big events. And the fact that we saw a recent event that it won, I don't know if it necessarily means it's going to continue to win. Blurple Crocodile has great matches, even against a deck like Zoro, but it has horrible matches against other decks that can just match it with advantage. And once again, if I can match you on advantage, that's your biggest thing being Blurple Crocodile. It's gaining hand advantage. But if you get like a green deck and then match you on advantage, are you really good? I don't think so. I think you're good against certain decks, but not against all decks. Once again, I think Blurple Crocodile is a really good deck, but now that everyone knows what it wants to do, it's pretty easy to beat. This guy's going right to C. Do we have to even say anything? Don't get me wrong, my other parallel leader I actually own is King, but this card is so bad. It is such cheeks. It's not even worth talking about anymore. Luffy. I'm putting Luffy at A, and the reason why is because I think some Zoro players who get bored of playing Zoro after a while because they're frustrated go to Luffy. I don't think Luffy is the best red here, the best red leader. I think Zoro is easily the best red leader. But once again, when you're a Zoro player and you're not playing Zoro's full potential, and I did a deck with thought. I talked about playing that Nami that nobody plays because Luffy has it built into him. But that built-in ability of Luffy, yeah, Nami has that built into it. So we have a card that has the leader's ability. Like Zoro is easily the better leader. There's no question about it. I do like playing Luffy. He is, I mean, it's the star of the One Piece anime, but it doesn't necessarily mean he is the better leader. Had they swapped the abilities, yeah, we would talk about Luffy with Zoro in the A tier, but that's not what it is. Zoro is better than Luffy. I'm sorry, everybody out there watching this video. I'm not sure if this is a hot take to some people, but it just is what it is. Kid Eustace. Now this is a really hard one because once again, a couple of months ago, it would have been S tier, no doubt in my mind, no question about it. But Kid Eustace isn't showing the numbers. In fact, I would argue the players that should be playing Kid Eustace are playing Law right now. So if they're playing Law right now, well, what's going on with Kid Eustace? Is it really at A tier? I mean, certain decks can beat it, but it can also beat a lot of decks as well. And I think Kid Eustace is in a weird fine line between S and A tier. I would argue Kid Eustace is still going to be an S tier, and the reason why is because I think it has a good matchup against a lot of the other S tier decks, as well as a lot of A tier decks. Alternatively, there's some A tier decks that can really put a hurting on it. I mean, Doflamingo is hunting Kid Eustace players. Like, that's what it is, 100%. Like, if you're a Doffy player, you're playing against a Kid player, dinner is served. It on a silver platter. With that said, Kid Eustace has a lot more decks that can play and beat, and that's why I think I'm going to be putting it as an S-tier deck. It's an insanely good deck, and I think a lot of players know this. Anyone who says it belongs in the A-tier, I don't think understands the fact that Kid Eustace is probably the best blocker deck in the game, easily. So much so, the reason why Law's up here, because it gets to utilize a lot of crazy cards that Kid Eustace naturally just already has in its deck. So I think it's crazy to say Kid Eustace has to go on the A. I wouldn't disagree with anyone who thinks it does belong in A. I get it. But I do think Kid Eustace is 100% S-tier deck. I'm very confident as Kid Eustace as a deck. All right. Up next, Crocodile. It's going in B tier, and the reason why is because it's not seeing almost any play. Anyone wants to play Mono Blue is going to be playing Doflamingo. He is a better Mono Blue player. I think by February, we might see some Crocodile decks. And by the time we're in March, no one's going to know what a Crocodile deck looks like because everyone's going to be on the new blue leader. So with that said, I do think Crocodile's a great B-ranked blue leader, but that's as far as Crocodile's going to get up until February. We might see a change next month, but to be honest with you, this is where it's going to be right now. And your boy, Kaido. Now, if anyone doesn't know and watch my channel, you guys have zero idea, Kaido is one of my favorite leaders in this game because Kaido is really good against almost everything, except anything red. Red is the kryptonite to Kaido. I'm talking anything red. I'm talking even the B-rank Luffy could put a clapping on Kaido's cheeks. I'll be honest with you. But with that said, if you're not playing red and you're playing Kaido, you're playing pretty much almost the buy entirely. And what I mean by that is Kaido beats, let's see, everything. The Blood Bowl Crocodile player even came out and said, yeah, if I play against Kaido, I lose. The law players have to watch out for Kaido and have to hold their cards strategically, and by doing so, they can be aggressive in the early game. Which, once again, if you're not aggressive against Kaido in the early game, by the time it's late game, you're talking to a 12k Kaido, and he ain't really there to talk. He's there to clap cheeks. If you're a green kid player, you really have to watch the way you play. You have to change your entire strategy of your entire build to beat one color, purple Kaido. If you're a Zoro player, Kyle's the buy. Like 100%. Like if you're a Luffy player, same thing. Like it might not be as consistent as Zoro, but Kaido is the buy. If you're a Blood Bowl Croc player, bro, you already know it already. And if you're a Doflamingo player, hey, listen, your tricks are really good, but even you have to somehow put that 4-drop blocker Kuma down by the time it's the late game. So when Kaido inevitably nukes your board, you can then flow into a 6-drop to maintain a game state. You need to do things to get rid of that Kaido, or you need to do things to end that game quickly. And that's not easy to do as a blue player. But I do think blue players with the proper strategy can be Kaido, but we're not seeing that happen as much. And if you're an Oden player, once again, if you remember what that 10-drop does, them cheeks will be clapped. And that's the thing, once again, 10-drop Kaido could probably do the best out of any deck against Oden because it could drop so many heavy hitter guys, and then start going to face. And as an Oden player, you're starting to build your board, but if you're building a board against Kaido in the late game, well, it doesn't really work out so well. I won't talk about the rest of the decks. Kaido claps those decks for the most part. Besides the blue, the B rank Luffy, maybe can win. Maybe, I don't know. If you get the 5-drop Luffy, it's pretty good. All right. So this is my tier list. This is what I think is the current tier list in the metagame. I don't have any specific rank or how I want to move the cards amongst them. Like, I don't think Zoro beats Law, Law beats Kid, Kid beats Kaido. I don't think like that. I just think these are the best decks in the game. And if you're looking to play the One Piece card game, these are the decks I would recommend you want to play. If you want to go to tournaments and win a lot, grab your S rank decks. If you want to go to tournaments and win, but you want to win by like using your brain a lot, you want to go to A rank. I'm not trying to say the S rank is like water brain or whatever. I'm just saying S ranks are so good, it's hard to mess up with them when you're playing against anything from B and C down below. And if you're on B rank and you get a win, bro, every win, go outside and throw yourself a pizza party. It's a big deal. And hell, if you're winning any games with King, any games, I think the car shops will stop, order you pizza, take you out for the bar with some strippers. You did a good thing after every single win because you're not going to have many of those. Listen, guys, I really appreciate you watching my video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is the Don. Hit the subscribe button. See you around, paisanos.